Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode with I Trek. Huge shout out to everybody that's tapping in, man. I appreciate you guys for tapping in like you always do. And if this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy TikToks and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. If you haven't already, go and smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, and join the iTrack fam. And without any further ado, let's just jump right into it.
Disturbing facts that may ruin your day. Your brain blocks out the feeling of your organs moving around inside of your body at all times. After giving birth, some women can feel their organs sliding back into place as their uterus shrinks. Human babies are helpless at birth compared to other animals because our brains grow so big. We evolved to give birth earlier in our development so that we don't severely hurt the mother while coming out of the birth canal. Your nose is always in your line of sight. Your brain just chooses to ignore it. You could look at any object and your tongue already knows what it feels like to lick it. You could have 2/3 of your liver removed and it would regenerate itself. If your immune system found out that you had eyes, it would attack them and you would go blind. No matter how hard you strain, you're only using about 60% of your full strength. If your brain didn't stop you, you could tear your muscles and break your bones just trying to throw a ball as hard as you can. When you hear about mothers lifting cars, this is thought to be the fight or flight adrenaline temporarily overriding that limit. If you have surgery and they have to take out your intestines, they put them in a bowl next to them while they work. Your intestines wiggle around in the bowl like snakes the whole time.
Going to want to hear this. Don't you think it's odd that Alaska is part of the United States of America? The real reason is far darker and more complex than you have been led to believe. Deep within Alaska, there is a black pyramid, an ancient structure that is buried beneath the ground, emitting powerful energy. In 1992, an earthquake in China revealed this pyramid near Mount McKinley. This discovery was picked up by spy satellites, revealing its location to external nations. Indigenous Alaskan tribes also speak of a powerful sacred structure which fits the exact same description as the structure captured on the satellite. But it gets even crazier. According to ancient scripts, the Black Pyramid is part of a global network of ancient energy generators. These pyramids were scattered around the world by a civilization that used to walk with the gods. The purpose was to harness and distribute energy across the world. The same network includes the Great Pyramid of Giza. Since the founding of the United States, extra effort was placed into colonizing Alaska with the aim to reverse engineer the pyramid's technology for modern use.
I mean, with the way America's set up right now, even if they could reverse engineer that pyramid to get energy, I don't think we'd be getting any free energy.
Why are they pushing Satan worship on television?
Because they're doing the work of their father, just like I am.
Wow. They're not getting richer by pushing satanic symbols.
Sure they are. People that really serve the Father of lies, they get rewarded by him when they proclaim his word.
You're framing it very differently. It's not just that the media and entertainment businesses are liberal or in the pocket of the Democratic Party. You're saying that they're pushing a theology on the country.
100%, no doubt about it.
I mean, we've been seeing it at almost every juncture of media, from music to movies to TV shows. Yeah, it's happening in real time.
As human, we're never meant to see part 42.
Jimmy Fallon, Mark Zuckerberg, Eddie Murphy, Ellen DeGeneres, Taylor Swift, Johnny Depp, Nicolas Cage, Matthew McConaughey, Stephen Fry, Donald Trump, Jay-Z, Andy Samberg and Daniel Radcliffe, Jennifer Lawrence, Peter Dinklage.
Yo, did he just call Justin Timberlake Matthew McConaughey? Yeah, he just ruined the whole clip with that one right there. No validity at all.
TikTok has literally went after 51 of the last 57 videos I dropped. The level of harassment I'm going through is insane. So if you see my story light up in the next 24 hours, it's probably this video. Now let's get into Project Paperclip and see why the United States brought all these Germans over here.
The reason that all your computer screens are blue lit, the reason none of them are red lit, the reason none of them pay attention to circadian biology is because that original technology was developed in a government program that Bobby Kennedy knows about, and I happen to know about because I went to medical school at LSU. For those of you who've never heard about Operation Paperclip, you think it's all conspiracy theory. So at Tulane Neurology and Tulane Neurosurgery in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, the CIA started a program there where they would do all these crazy things to monkeys. The CIA wanted to see how they could control things utilizing different things like drugs and things like that. Where the neurosurgeons got involved, which is my clade, we would drill tops of the heads off, put wires into the thalamus, put electricity in there, and kind of see what kind of behavioral changes we could have. One of the guys that was in that program was a guy named Professor Delgado. When he saw that we could control the behavior with the wired device, he said, what if we do it wirelessly? So he checked it in monkeys and checked it in bulls, and it turned out you can do it wirelessly with RFID chips and semiconductors. Then the CIA took it to the next level. They said, well, since this is electromagnetic radiation, what if we did it through light through screens? And it turns out you can. And that's the reason why all your computer screens have the frequencies they have. So why is this all important? Well, the person that set this meeting up between me and Bobby is the patent attorney that made sure that Google and Meta have those things so they can control the things that we all do. Where did the original idea come from that started off in MK Ultra with the CIA? You're going to be surprised when you hear this. It came from the mafia in Las Vegas. They wanted to build a new city in a desert. They enclosed it all, blacked out the windows, invented slot machines that were blue lit. And they found out that they didn't have to take a gun, stick it in your face to steal your money. Then they even got smarter. They said, let's give people free alcohol while they're doing that. And they found out they got the money quicker. And that's when the CIA got the idea to start this program. That's really how it started.
Yeah, he's dropping the kind of gems you might want to keep with you.
It's in space. It is blocked by the firmament. The firmament mentioned in Genesis separates the waters above from the waters below. There's a firmament, an impenetrable barrier. And most Christians don't even believe in the firmament. Most of them don't even, and then I come out and say, hey, I know what the firmament is. It's in the shape of a rainbow. In fact, that's how rainbows are formed. How do you get curved light that makes a rainbow? It has to be mirroring something that's curved exactly the same as it, the same angulation.
Like
and
water too, right?
Exactly. If you're a Christian, you're going to have to pick. Do you believe NASA or do you believe the Bible? Because here it is in the Bible. God made the sun and the moon and the stars. 3 different words, 3 different things, differentiated on purpose. The Bible does not waste a word. The Bible's not like me. It don't just ramble senselessly and have to be told to shut up. The Bible says everything that needs to be said and not nothing more. It differentiated the sun and the moon and the stars on the first page of the book. What does NASA tell you? The sun is a star, and the stars are the sun. NASA says that the sun are stars, and that they're off in the distance. I'm telling you, NASA's full of shit. The sun don't twinkle. Guess what don't twinkle? The sun. What does NASA teach, though? The sun is stars. They're the same thing. They're just further away. No, the sun and the stars are different. The sun will never twinkle. It is not a star. It's a great light to rule the day. I don't even think it's running off of helium, hydrogen, things like that. I think it's damn near a supernatural great light.
Did this rocket just prove that space is fake? We have lift off. Okay, it's going. Now pay very close attention to when this rocket breaks out of the bubble. Here we go, watch this. About to do something really weird. Pay attention. What is that? If anyone can explain what this is, please let me know. Thanks for watching and stay weird.
Even that clip right there was like a rocket and then cut to the sky exploding. So I don't know what to really make of something like that. Let me know what you think. Hey, I won't be having any of that chicken at all. What do you even call that?
The best depression medication works 40% of the time. It's not even a 50-50. It works 40% of the time. Exercise works 80% of the time. So exercise works twice as well as the best pharmaceutical drug for depression.
That's right.
And because we already have an internal pharmacy that needs to be activated, and you need to know what those habits are. Here's what you do to be the ideal form of yourself.
Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas starts us off from Washington. Good morning, Pierre.
George, good morning. Our audience is about to see the frantic seconds in the moments after the gunman tried to kill former President Trump. It's all caught on police body cam video. And warning to our family at home, what you're about to see may be disturbing.
This morning...
Hey, he didn't pause when he said it. He didn't blink his eye. Hey, he said it like this is what it is type of thing. That's wild.
This is actually happening, and people's faces are looking like this as they are being ripped off other people and sewn on, and this is legal. People were shocked after an unthinkable, deadly viral procedure was happening to millions, and the faces we see are not who they actually are, as doctors are now strapping people down and cutting them off without consent, and many others are calling this unethical. The terrifying procedure has over 30 doctors ripping one person's face off to sew it back onto another. Since this procedure requires delicate movements or the face will die, it takes a whopping 35 hours non-stop, and with every hour longer it takes, the more life-threatening it becomes. With hundreds of nerves on the face and each nerve and vein being a fractional width of a strand of hair, all to be cut and sewn by hand. Many of those who have gone through terrible accidents are able to get a new face with this procedure by using the face of someone who has freshly passed.
I am literally wearing someone else's face that was an organ donor. I was in a really bad car accident.
But in some reports without the consent of the person who passed. So would you choose this to get a new chance at life?
That's $1 million question. I mean, when you come out looking like that, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, you guys are not going to believe this. We just saw that door open and shut.
Wait, oh my god!
Yeah, oh my god.
Oh my god!
It just moved.
Holy shit. Stop.
Do you see that?
Zoom in. Zoom in. No, to the right. Wait, what the fuck? Do you see that?
That giant just shut that.
Cap.
Entre las deidades más veneradas por los mayas está Chara, el dios del agua y de la lluvia, y quien le abre camino, Kukulcán, la serpiente emplumada, también conocido como Quetzalcóatl, Cucumatz o Cosa.
It's a myth. Very few. Let's go to Wikipedia. We'll pull up the list of the last 1,000 serial in history. There's like 995 are men and like 5 are women.
Right.
So I'm like, the statistics, you got your opinion, you know, but you don't know what you're talking about. Like, women are more likely to have borderline personality disorder, and they're more likely to have high anxiety. Men are more psychopathic. Like, I've tested like 500,000-600,000 people. 30% of guys have high psychopath.
Really?
Women, it's like 1, 2, 3. A lot of men have like 80% psychopath.
You think NPCs are actually real? Like some people
Yes.
don't have souls?
Yeah, I 100% believe that. You want to do another trick? Go like this. Now take your hands like this, a little bit apart, just a little bit, and then go back, but don't touch them. No, further apart, not that fast.
Feels like a magnet.
Yeah, don't touch them. Exactly. It feels like a magnet.
What the f?
Exactly. Hold on. Just keep it like there. Now, I want you people at home to do the same thing. Take your hand and go like this, but don't touch. Like this, a little bit apart, You should feel some kind of energy. You should feel some kind of magnetism. And if you don't, you're an NPC because you don't have a soul. Do you understand that? You do not have a soul if you can't feel it. Come here. Put your hands right here. Do you feel that?
Yes, that's weird.
This is how stuff works. You have energy in your body. By the way, they don't teach you this stuff in schools. As a matter of fact, to take a Bible term, the 144, I think there's basically 144 million people on Earth with souls, and I think the rest are NPCs. And considering there's 7 billion people on the planet, that tells you a lot. I think the NPCs are here to keep us in line. The ones with souls, to make sure if you have a great idea, oh no, that ain't gonna work, dude. Give it up, man. They're here to keep you down, deflate you, and sometimes NPCs can be in the same family too.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, give it a try and let me know, is the Force with you or not?
Want to hear something terrifying? The Prophecy of the Popes.
Oh boy.
This book in the Vatican archives predicted every single pope from 1143 all the way to our current pope. But the scary thing is, after Pope Francis, the last one, it just says Judgment Day.
Oh gosh.
It literally ends after Pope Francis?
Yes. The creepiest thing, inside St. Paul's Basilica, bordering the whole inner sanctuary, is a picture of every single pope. But what's weird is that there's only a certain amount of markers where you can put a picture. There's one left after Pope Francis. They have always said once that last slot is filled, it will be the end of the world. What he predicted, the time it took to go from the first pope that he wrote about to the halfway mark was 422 years. And he's saying from the middle one to the end, another 422 years will be the end of the world. If you do 422 in the middle pope, which was 1585, that year is 2027.
Dang!
It's even weirder. Pope John the 23rd, he said that the end of the world would happen 2,000 years plus Christ's life. So that adds up to 2027.
Ziggy, when's the first time Richard Simmons died?
The date of death for Richard Simmons is February 20th, 2014. He was 57 years old when he died.
You always have a choice to make. My thing is, I don't have time to be angry. You know how much time it takes to hold an attitude and a grudge? That's time and energy. I don't have that time. The time that it takes you to go, I don't like that person, and keep that in you over a period of time, that's a lot of time that can be devoted to something positive. I choose positive because overall positive will always be negative.
Well, you know what Nelson Mandela said about that? He said, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and hoping it kills the other person.
Whenever you wake up in the morning, today is going to be a great day. You have to nudge your brain, right? We have a conscious mind, we have an unconscious mind, we have a self-image, and your subconscious is paying attention to the words that the conscious mind is saying. And so if you're like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed, today's going to be a bad day, you're going to have a bad day because you just programmed your subconscious mind to do that. Every day when my feet hit the floor, today is going to be a great day.
Your ear gets ripped off. You can actually take some cartilage from your rib cage. Then a doctor will carve it into the shape of an ear and place it into a pocket of skin on your forearm. Inside your arm, it develops and forms new blood vessels and skin. Once it is fully developed, the new ear is removed from your arm. The new blood vessels are attached to your ear hole, and the skin is carefully stitched to your head, giving you a new ear.
Beyonce removes all speculation and lets us know exactly what God she worships in her new music video, Mood Forever. And that God is the Yoruba African goddess deity, Oshun. Check this out. So I think it's very clear, out of Beyonce's own mouth even, that she is involved in the worship of Oshun.
Beyonce's a witch and we should be scared. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she's an Ifa. So when she wears her yellow, that's Oshun.
And in many cultures, you could say some part of Oshun showing up, this love goddess, is in practically almost every walk of life. And so there's a texture of that carries that Oshun energy. Yellow, Gold, orange are some of her main colors. Some of the offerings for Oshun are oranges, honey, gold, sunflowers, cinnamon, mirrors, bells, brass, all of these nice things.
But I'll take it a step further. So Oshun has daughters. You know, these are those who identify with Oshun and choose to worship Oshun and give offerings and sacrifices and put up altars to Oshun. And these people call themselves daughters of Oshun. These are her worshipers. That would make Oshun the mother of these daughters of Oshun, right? If you notice in Beyonce's video, she says, "I am the mother." Oshun, Queen Sheba. So what I believe is that Beyonce doesn't just worship Oshun. Beyonce believes she is Oshun. I believe Beyonce has become possessed and obsessed to a point where the demon of Oshun has entered into her and convinced her that she is Oshun reincarnated and reborn. And I believe that is exactly what Beyonce depicted as those two large doors opened and water came rushing out of those doors and Beyonce walked out of those doors. I believe that was a depiction of Beyonce being born again, right? Leaving this womb, this water breaking and her coming out being born again as Oshun. And if you guys remember in my public video, I said that Beyonce was doing rituals and opening up demonic portals at her concerts. Well, remember I said that one of the things Oshun stands for is fertility and love. What did you see on the screen of Beyonce's Renaissance tour? It was a woman's legs opened and it depicted a woman's womb. I believe that's exactly what Beyonce was depicting on her Renaissance tour, with the woman's legs wide open, and in the middle you see this portal, and I believe that represents a woman's womb, you know, the woman's vagina. So people who are going to these concerts are unknowingly opening themselves up to these deities, to these demons, and partaking in a gigantic ritual. This stuff is serious, guys, and we cannot join ourselves to these secular things. We have to get away from the world, get away from the things of the world. I don't care how good the music sounds. We have to break ties and cut ties with these things and live a surrendered and sold out life to Jesus Christ. And the music, true music of God, is so much better than this garbage. I know that it's catchy, you know, I know that it sounds good to the ear, but it is poison to the soul, and it is just, it's straight up the music and worship of demons. So it's time to choose a side, guys. It's time to become radical for Christ. Amen. Love you guys. Pray this message blessed you. Shalom.
That's probably one of the best breakdowns I've ever had on my channel. I mean, there's always people hinting to what Beyonce might be on, but he kind of gave one of the best descriptions of what's actually going on. Very insightful and interesting.
Buckle up, Buttercup, because your cognitive dissonance is about to be switched on real hard. We all know Tom Brady, but not all of you know this guy. This is Gary Busey. Gary Busey, who just happens to look like almost a completely different person throughout the years. Gary Busey, who just happens to have an exactly symmetrical face to Tom Brady. At least in the more recent photos of Gary Busey he does. So symmetrical that their mouth, nose, and eye alignment literally line up perfectly. And I've compared dozens, if not hundreds, of people's faces side by side, and they don't match unless they're the same person. For example, I've been told over the years that I have a slight resemblance to Sylvester Stallone, so I tried to pair us up, and when the chins matched, nothing else did. And that's what happens if the people are not the same. And when you see this, you see. And when you look at something like Johnny Knoxville playing Bad Grandpa, you see it matches perfectly because they're the same person. And do you see that they have costumes that make people look unrecognizable? So unrecognizable that unless you have an extremely keen eye and are good with facial recognition, you don't notice they're the same person. But there are always clues that give it away. Things like the way you move and the way you even give the peace sign. I don't know about you, but my fingers always do that. And things like giving clues and truth right in plain sight.
No. The reason I'm still alive is because I wear an invisible helmet. You can't see it, but it's always there.
And we know how Tom has always been known as a team player.
Our team, TEAM, stands for Together Everyone Achieves More.
And did you see the size of those mitts? I bet that's a pretty big hand that would be good at slinging a football. And I don't know about you guys, but I sure have heard a lot of talk about Tom Brady and his sleep habits.
I want to tell you about sleep. Sleep is a very powerful element that we are to have every night. The word nap, N-A-P, stands for not a possibility. Forget naps.
Now, if you've made it this far and you haven't scrolled away yet and the cognitive dissonance isn't just eating at your soul, good job, I'm proud of you. So this is something they do. They have multiple characters play the same role. Now, Gary Busey might be a real person. In my opinion, he's probably not. He's just who people play, and different people play him. And in my opinion, it's been quarterbacks that have been playing him throughout the years. That is Boomer Esiason. And I don't know about you, but that actually just looks like Gary Busey. And John Elway, I do a facial recognition that I show where they match up perfectly, and now it's Tom's turn. This is what they've been doing for decades. This is Benicio del Toro, and these are supposedly all him. But they're all different actors playing that role. This is Brad Pitt. This is Tom Hanks. This is Leonardo DiCaprio, and I think this one is also Leo. But when you do side-by-sides, the eyes and the nose and the mouth, they don't align for the same people because they're all different people playing this role. It's the same thing they've been doing for this guy for the past however many years. If you can honestly look at those two pictures and not realize from bone structure that they're different people under that, then you're not going to get it. And like I said, multiple people jump in there. It's not always the same guy. So when I say Tom is playing Gary, yeah, but other people do too. When I tried to do older pictures of him, they don't match. The facial structure's off, the eyes don't match, the mouth doesn't match, the chin doesn't match. But then you pull an 80s picture of Busey and get an 80s quarterback in there, and it matches beautifully. When you take quarterback of the Broncos and owner of the Broncos, John Elway, and match him up from an 80s picture of Busey, everything matches. Nose, teeth, eyes, and yeah, they add things, but you can't hide where your mouth and nose and teeth are. Call it what you want. Call it a tryout, call it a humiliation ritual, call it initiation to the boys club or the Freemasons. If you want to go be on TV full time as an announcer, you gotta pass the test. And if you think they're not capable of pulling off that good of a disguise, well, do you know that George McFly, or the actor that played George McFly, wasn't even in Back to the Future 2? They used a mask and hired someone else to play him. And nobody knows this. He's even suing over it because they used his likeness and didn't pay him for someone else to play his role. And yes, the disguises are just that good. If anyone were to see this bad grandpa walking down the street, no one would say, hey, there's Johnny Knoxville. But if you have a keen eye, you say, hey, Benicio del Toro looks an awful lot like Brad Pitt. And if you have an open mind, you say, maybe they're just the same person. And when someone says you a picture saying, hey, look how much Boomer Esiason looks like Gary Busey, and you go look up Gary Busey, and you have an unprogrammed mind like mine, and you look at it and you say, hey, that looks an awful lot like Tom Brady. And then you start doing the research, it becomes pretty clear. Especially when you know that they're already doing this with multiple other people playing multiple roles. And when you know they're all in the same club that you ain't in. And if they can control your mind with fewer people to keep in that know, then they're going to be smart and do that. Because that's what it's all about anyway, is total mind control. Because if you don't know who is who, or up from down, or left from right, or round from flat, then they can control your mind in any direction they want, and you're much more easy to put their finger on. Because then you have to rely on them for all the answers. But you guys know I just do this for the views, and I just create all sorts of crazy conspiracy theories for your entertainment. I don't really believe any of this. I'm a satire account to think I would really think that Tom Brady was putting on a mask and parading as older Gary Busey. How preposterous. All for entertainment purposes only, of course.
I mean, nah, but for real, he did look like him, though. I mean, let's be honest. He looked exactly like him. So I don't know. That's one you have to marinate on. It's easy to just dismiss it and say nah. But there are so many mysteries in this world that we still have no clue about. Got to marinate on that one right there. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books. I appreciate each and every one of you for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button, join the iTrack fam, and I will catch you on the next one for sure.